Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Excuse me. Okay, let me remove that. I don't think I like that. Let me see here. Let me try this again. Okay, it's still the 23rd, right? For me, and 24th for some of you all. Oh, man. When I first started Royal Sussex, this is kind of funny. Not funny, haha, but funny, ironic. I thought I thought that I would just log on and say a couple of funny things and be done for the day. Little did I know that I would be uh, I would be here a few years later, working much harder than I thought I was, or thought I would. And whilst it is very fulfilling, it's just ironic because I thought it was. I mean, I saw other people on the interweb, and I thought, how hard could it possibly be? I mean, after all, they're doing it. Like, for instance, hello, hello. When I saw that other content creator saying hello, I thought, wow, that's easy. I could do that. Oh, fast forward to the 23rd of October, 2023. And I tell you, sometimes I'm so tired, I don't know whether well, I don't want to say the S word, but I don't know whether to crap or go blind, as they used to say back in the day. So, but I think what it is that if you have any bit of you that is a perfectionist, you only know one way to do things, and that's just to do it properly. You know what I mean? So that's the thing is that I don't like to do stuff by half measures if I know I can do it right or do it better. So that can slow you down sometimes when you want to, just put something out there. So anyway, thank you for being here first, Lydia Washington, and then Carolyn Teal, Lady T, Judy Matassit. Only took me about 6 months to figure out how to say it right. But you see what I mean, Judy? I kept at it until I figured it out. And then Educate You Too, Mary H., and a host of friends and others. Okay, I'll catch up with you guys later on. And I think I saw gosh, was there someone who had reached another monthly milestone for their membership? Well, if I did miss it, I do apologize in advance, but I thought someone had reached a milestone, but maybe not. Uh, oh, well, let me see. Okay. Oh, by the way, my slides are up. There we go. Go slides. There we go. Slides are up. Thank you, Lady T. That was very kind of you. And Lucy Highland, thank you so much for being a member, and thank you for being. Thank you. That is for the super sticker. Oh, greatly appreciate it. And happy Monday or Tuesday to you. Monday or Tuesday. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, okay, I'm good to go. All right, another sip of my coffee, and we're off to the races. Okay. All right. So, so Prince Harry is riding the wave of popularity from his visit to the Formula One. Is it the Grand Prix? And it's it's obvious why, because well, Prince Harry has even eclipsed the Queen when it comes to popularity, right? When Queen Elizabeth was alive, there was a time when even the Queen played second fiddle to Harry's popularity, which is a testament to his mother's ability to instill certain values upon him. That all these years later, I tell you, he is the worthy recipient of Princess Diana's legacy. Elaine Parker, thank you for the super sticker and good morning to you. Thank you so much for being here. I know these hours are a bit of a strain for you, but I really do appreciate you being here. And Olivia Johnson, thank you for 1 month's membership. I had been a patron for the last 14 months. Now I am a member. Okay. Oh, you're on Patreon. Thank you so much. Now you get access to those stickers like everybody else that has a membership. Thank you so much, Olivia Johnson. And thanks for coming over here to this side of things. And for those of you that are still on the Patreon, thank you very much. Every bit helps, definitely. Uh, okay. And take that away. And also the usual suspects. I'll get to that very soon, as well as Don't Let Us Down, Kenya. I'm afraid that, oh man, Kenya, it's up to you, Kenya. It's up to you. Kenya, it is up to you to represent the ancestors. All I can say, you all, is don't get your hopes up. Don't get your hopes up. If you were hoping for something more like the visit of the King and Queen of the Netherlands, if you're expecting Willem Alexander and Maxima in South Africa, forget about it. I don't think that that's going to happen, but I will explain later. So, Prince Harry steps out solo in Austin for a surprise outing at Formula One US Grand Prix. See the photos. Well, that was in People magazine. The Duke of Sussex soaked up the action at the Circuit of the Americas in Texas on Sunday. And also in People, it says here Prince Harry is feeling the need for speed. The Duke of Sussex, 39, was all smiles as he toured the pit lane and team garage at the Formula One US Grand Prix in Austin, Texas on Sunday. Prince Harry was a guest of Mercedes F1, that is, at the Circuit of the Americas and was seen chatting with British driver George Russell and Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff, right? It's pronounced with a V, Toto Wolff. Ahead of the race start, he was joined at the race by his friend and Better Up CEO Alexei Robichaud. The Duke of Sussex has served as Chief Impact Officer for the coaching platform since March 2021. Now, see, I just want to point out to you all, I want to give credit where credit is due. It's not that People magazine always get it right. Of course not. And just so you know, People magazine was actually a part, it was like a section of Time magazine back in the day. And so in the Time magazine, they had that little gossip page, a little, Hollywood page that was called People. And People was a little Hollywood, a little gossip, a little, contemporary uh, American history stuff, um, a little satire. It was all those things. It was supposed to be the little lighter side of the news. Well, eventually they branched out in the 70s to a magazine of its own, abandoning its original Time magazine. So, Time magazine, of course, one of the better U.S. published magazines. They haven't gone the way of Newsweek, not yet, I don't think. They're still a very serious magazine. So that's where People comes from. And so when People magazine was hijacked by the British tabloid media complex, it was very disappointing. Like for instance, Newsweek. Newsweek was, a lot of presidential reports and government and civics and world history and such. It was Newsweek. It was supposed to be everything you needed to know about the world encapsulated in that magazine that came out once a week. Now it is gossip and innuendo and it's a tabloid magazine, which is disappointing. There's a long history of great journalism here in the United States, and it has been hijacked by this invasion from Salt Island that has changed the whole environment for the American media. And of course, I'm not just blaming the British tabloid media. It's really an offshoot. It's part of the influence of Rupert Murdoch. I mean, Rupert Murdoch is one of the most dangerous, one of the most awful influences on the geopolitical history of the world that I could think of. I mean, William Randolph Hearst would be hard pressed to. Well, you know what? If William Randolph Hearst and his brand of yellow journalism existed today, um, he would probably be the same person that Rupert Murdoch is, the same type of kingmaker, and having this undue influence on the world. So, well, anyway, so I I I expect a little more from People magazine. They wrote this very well. I guess I got a little sidetracked because of my frustration about the media, but this was written very well in that so far, and this is not the entire article, but so far it didn't say without Megan or since he took a private jet to the island. You know what I mean? It's an unnecessary drip, drip, drip of toxin that ruins a perfectly good story. They don't seem to recognize that some people just want the news without a bunch of nonsense. But so far so good. If you want to finish the article, you have to go to People Magazine. I don't think there's a paywall for it, so you can just go to their website. But yeah, Kathy G, thank you so much. Baron bought the cookie can for my sewing supplies. Good for you. Good for you. Um, I don't know why I didn't put a link for those cookie cans. I haven't bothered to do any of that merchandising like that because you know me, I'm quite spontaneous, so I don't know what I'm going to say next. But yeah, well, that's good. I mean, those cookies are like, how do I put it? This is part of my youth. It reminds me of growing up. It reminds me of my relatives and such. It reminds me of my grandparents. It's all those things, and of course, it reminds you of holidays like Christmas and such. So, yeah, it's one of those things from the past that when you see it, you just kind of feel like you're in a safe space. All right. Well, thank you so much for being a member for 21 months. All right. Okay. So let's see here. Hmm. Oh, really, Lorna Williams? That's something to think about. They have Prince Harry take his kids to the World Champion Soapbox Derby in Akron, Ohio. They would have a blast in the last couple years. Several girls have won the title. Okay, and for those of you that don't know what the Soapbox Derby is, I believe that the little push cars were made out of soapboxes. And isn't that right? They would push them to start or something like that, or you had to kind of kick off or something. But anyway, they were made from the old soap boxes, if I'm correct. And of course nowadays, given technology, who knows what they're like? I haven't seen one of those in forever. But yeah, we used to call them the soapbox derbies, and it was like a little neighborhood car race. And um, you and your family would, you your probably your dad would help you build it and everything, and then you would go and compete with the other kids. And back in those days, they didn't wear helmets, but now I'm pretty sure they have roll bars, helmets, composite materials. Oh, thank you, Lorna Williams. You see what I mean? That's what makes this group so much fun, is that we're older adults, most of us, and we kind of speak to each other. And even those of you that are not as old, it gives you a chance to learn some stuff from us older folks that you may have heard and had no clue what it was. But I'm glad to be able to do that if you're interested to know certain things. But um, yeah, that's cool. That reminds me of my youth and stuff like that. When people be like, "Oh, I hate getting older." When I talk about things from the past, it makes me feel younger. It reminds me of how much fun life used to be before so much. Yeah, before so much technology took over. We used to actually go out and do things. But thank you, Lorna. Okay. All right. Let's see. Lydia Washington says, Baron, Diane B wanted to confirm you got your gift. There is something that came up at my mailbox. I haven't went to go and pick it up yet. So just so you know, though, if you send it to that address, there is someone there at the address, and they do receive it. So I actually get a notification, but I haven't gone to pick it up yet. I may not do that for a few days because I'm not really near. So, but yeah, thank you in advance, and I will let you know. But yeah, so that's it. I know that something is there, but I don't know what it is. But it is from Amazon, if that sounds familiar. Isn't this fun? Now you see why I love the Royal Sussex wish list so much, because, oh, Mary, oh, okay. MR, thank you so much for the Cash App, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. So, as I was saying, there was something that arrived this morning, and I'm like looking at, it's so cool because they scan the package so you can see what it looks like. You can tell if it's an envelope, if it's a box. Don't you just love modern technology? So everything works except for me actually getting over there to get it. But yep, thank you very much. Something did arrive today. And thank you, Lydia, for the alert. Okay. Oh, okay. Olivet. Okay, what did you say here? Newsweek is considered a zombie magazine hijacked by the founder of Olivet University, who teamed up with a Korean church to buy Newsweek? Really? I've never heard that story. Huh. Okay, I'll have to look into that. I like to know where the news is coming from. Yeah. Just about well, with social media, just about anybody is capable of having a platform that could reach a lot of people. When you look at some of the television stations and even some of the networks, there are times when they will post a video and they only get a fraction of the views that some of the Sussex friendly channels get. So there are a lot of people competing for, and I've said this a million times, the pie is shrinking, and yet there's so many people that want a slice of it. And so there's a lot of competition out there for your attention. Okay, so Lydia has kindly put the link to the Royal Sussex wish list. Now, FYI, there is no pressure for anyone to purchase anything on the Royal Sussex wish list, but if you choose to do so, I will promise to put my teeth in and make the biggest smile you've ever seen. I will pop my teeth in and smile as broadly as I ever have in my life. It's fun because it's that mystery. What is it? Because I don't know what was sent until I go get it. Um, but I have to admit, it is a lot of fun. Um, and yeah, and I got to try to make sure I put some more less expensive things on there, as someone has pointed out that that a few of the items were a little pricey for their budget. So, but yeah, again, there's no obligation to do that, but it is just a little extra fun for me, I will admit. Okay, let's see here. All right, so we're all caught up, and oh, leg and feet pain, huh? All right. So take a look there. There's Harry smiling and beaming and wearing those designer shades. And of course, when Harry and Meghan go out into the public, people make money. People make money. Now, there's always those derangers that want to say, Connie Palmer! What perfect timing! I was in mid sentence and I just noticed Connie Balmer. Hey, Connie Balmer, all the way from Switzerland. Good morning to you. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, whenever the Sussexes go out, everybody makes money, right? So that includes the manufacturer of those sunglasses, right? Take a look here. There they are. Les Specs. They have those, and the Sunglass Hut. Let me see. What is the name of these things? No biggie. Pewter smoke mono, whatever that means. Monotone. They're cost €60 there, but over here, there's $398. Now, I know the dollar is not as strong as it used to be, but it certainly doesn't uh, translate to like a €60. Let's see. So one of these is priced a little pricier than the other, if you know what I mean. But don't let that discourage you if you choose to seek those amazing sunglasses. It has a very classic Wayfarer shape. The Wayfarer, of course, are those dark black sunglasses from the 50s. One thing about them is they are very the shape, that classic shape of those glasses. They are very much complementary to just about anybody's face. I mean, I don't know who can put on a pair of sunglasses with that shape to it and not instantly have a more flattering silhouette to their face. And these are very interesting because instead of having the black frame, these are clear and they have those really cool smoky lenses. So, yeah, I would say those are pretty stylish. Yep, those are pretty stylish, but don't worry, they're not going on the Royal Sussex wish list. I'm just looking. I'm not getting any ideas, trust me. But yeah, they are pretty cool. Uh, oh, and Connie Balmer, I saw in the comments that you were concerned about something that you were sending to Royal Sussex. Not to worry. I'm pretty sure that in due time it will be there and there will be someone to receive it. So I'm kind of far away from the mailbox, so I don't go there every day. But whenever it shows up, I was just saying, I get a notification to let me know that there's something there. So I have up to a month to pick it up before they start charging me extra. So, but thank you so much in advance for whatever surprise it is. I can't wait to see it. Uh, uh, but yeah, so whatever it is, I cannot wait. I'm excited. All right. So, UK Home Office seemingly suggesting that it is perfectly happy for retailers to buy police protection from shoplifting. Yeah, that's right. The same Home Office that previously argued in court against the Duke of Sussex buying police protection when visiting the UK. Let me say that for you one more time because I don't know if you heard me right. The UK Home Office seemingly suggesting that it is perfectly happy for retailers to buy, purchase, to use their money to, buy protection from shoplifters. But the Duke of Sussex, who has very deep pockets and who is a member of the royal family, whose father is now a head of state, something that I'd like to point out that no child of a head of state should be obliged to pay for their own security. No child who is the son of a head of state or daughter should be obliged to pay for their own security. But yet, in this age that we live in, Charles the Third, Charles the Third is not paying for his son's protection. I can even understand that perhaps he doesn't want to um, pay for the entire family, right? Although that is outrageous because he should, because you really don't have one without the other. But not only did he pull the protection from the family, he pulled the protection that his son has always had. Now, as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, I pointed out, thanks to one of the subscribers who wasn't Hazel necessarily, but I was delivered information that says, according to what essentially is the Bible of the aristocracy, that Harry and Meghan still have their titles. They are still HRH and they are still entitled to royal protection, but their royal protection was taken away from them because of a nasty, vindictive institution, his daddy and his brother, because they, well, we know the story of why the Sussexes left, but it is unbelievable that they are more concerned about those retailers on the high street than a son of a head of state, the sovereign, an institution that dates back 1,000 years, as they love to say, 1,000 years. There will always be in England an institution that has lasted for 1,000 years. Well, that 1,000-year-old institution ought to provide the protection for the fifth in line to the throne. But instead, or is it fourth? Fourth and fifth? No, fourth. Fourth. Yeah, the fourth in line to the throne. So I'm just saying. But instead, we are having this conversation right now because Harry's protection was removed because of his jealous, vindictive brother, because of his waffling, flip flopping, indecisive daddy, who is also malicious. He doesn't have the protection that he deserves. But they are going to allow the shops on the high street to buy all the protection they want. And let me tell you something, y'all. In most municipalities, in most places in the U.S., if it's anything like this, off-duty police make so much money working things like the International Auto Show, or working for, celebrities that come to town. They make a lot of money and they have the links and the connections to the intelligence that is provided by the police forces, by the police agencies, the security agencies. Like, for instance, if you are a police officer in New York and you work um, during your off hours, you work for a celebrity, you still have those connections within the police department. This is why we were able to prove without a doubt that something happened in New York with the Sussexes that was a near catastrophic event. And if it wasn't for that, what's his name, John Miller or whatever his name is, that was on CNN, if it wasn't for him and the connections that he had from the time he worked for the city of New York, we wouldn't know the difference, would we? We would have to depend on people that may not necessarily know the full story, or may not necessarily have the Sussexes' um, interests at heart. So their best interests may have been overlooked or ignored, but because of his connections, we were able to get down to the nitty gritty. We got to the root of the matter. So I would say that is unimpeachable evidence that something terrible may have happened. And because of that connection to law enforcement, well, we know the truth. We know the truth. We don't have to depend on the media bias to find out. We have someone who has worked for law enforcement and is part of the media who said, yeah, something happened. So there you go. That's why it's important to have protection, like they're trying to get to save the merchandise on the shelf. You could also use that same protection at no cost to the taxpayers to protect the Duke and Duchess of Sussex whenever they travel over there. The only thing I can think of is you just don't want them to visit. You just don't want them to outshine those mediocre people in the family, mediocre Middleton and Workshy Will. But I will say it again. I believe Harry, Meghan, and Doria. When they said something happened, we saw the video. We know how these things go. So, and of course, when you consider that Princess Diana did not have police protection, she was not, being protected by a royal protection officer at the time of that mysterious, tragic, and thoroughly unexplained, catastrophic event that happened in Paris. There's no logical explanation for it, but of course, if you know the math, we pretty much could imagine what happened, but I'm just not able to say because, well, anyway. But we know what we know. That's all I'm saying. We know what we know. So yeah, how interesting that they are going to allow the high street to use these police officers, law enforcement officers, to protect their shops, to protect their places of business. Now, oh, wait, there we go. Take a look there. So, action plan to tackle shoplifting launched. The government brought together retailers and policing to set out measures to tackle the rise in shoplifting, catch more offenders, and keep retail workers safe. Okay, now I am for the keep the retail workers safe, because some of these people that have run in these shops, snatching everything off the shelves, they can be, like a caged animal, or like trying to corner a an animal. They can be very dangerous. So I am for that. But I'm also um, very sure that, or should I say, I feel strongly that the Met Police or the Royal Protection Officers should always protect the Sussexes when they're over there. If you don't want to give them any type of protection here in the United States, then you should make sure that they are as safe as any senior royal and their families are in the United Kingdom. It should not be a question about that. I can't believe we're having this conversation. I cannot believe this is a thing, especially when you consider what happened to Princess Diana. It is just, they've done so much with the help of William. With the help of William, they have done so much to um, just make Diana almost invisible, as though she's hiding in plain sight. They've done so much to make sure that Diana's story is lost to the ages, but for the fact that there are some people who are just not going to ever let that happen. But they're trying to make sure they're doing their best to remake the story in their own image instead of telling the story as it actually happened. And the people that are doing it, of course, are the royal rodents. So, all right. So that plan of action, I'm just going to share a little bit about this with you. Let me see here. Excuse me. Do I need to say it again? I don't know why I didn't get that humidifier out. I really have to get my humidifier. I kind of need my humidifier. I've been getting that humidifier out for about a week. Tomorrow, I will have my humidifier. I promise. I promise. Okay. Policing Minister Chris Phillip chaired a meeting with senior police leaders and 13 of the UK's biggest retailers today to launch the Retail Crime Action Plan. Commissioned by the minister and published today, the plan includes a police commitment to prioritize urgently attending the scene of shoplifting instances involving violence against a shop worker where security guards have been detained, an offender, or where attendance is needed to secure evidence. Police attendance will be assessed based on risk, and prolific or juvenile offenders will be treated with elevated priority. Police have also reaffirmed their pledge to follow up on any evidence that could reasonably lead to catching a perpetrator. Forces will step up targeted hotspot patrols in badly affected areas. The plan set out evidence for retailers on how to provide the best possible evidence for police to pursue any case. They should send CCTV footage of the whole incident and an image of the shoplifter from the digital evidence management system as quickly as possible after an offender has been committed. After an offense, that is, has been committed. So, again, all of this preparation, all of this planning, and how are they going to pay for this stepped up extra added protection? They are going to allow the retailers to pay for the extra police, policing. Let me see here. Okay. Target. We welcome collaboration between retailers, police, crime commissioner. Yeah. So anyway, that's it. They're going to enact a plan of action, and the funding for it comes from the retailers. It's no different than the way most police forces work around the world. There is the ability to pay for individual. It's just like I've grown up, right? I've grown up. And sometimes when there's a very big funeral, I don't know who died, but I have seen funerals where they have had a police escort to the cemetery. You know, you can pay for that. And if someone is trying to obstruct the procession or whatever, then the police are there. If you want to make sure that the traffic is, prevented from crossing the procession, the police is there. The funeral home is not paying for that. The family, the loved ones are paying for that. It's no different. And that way, if the Sussexes are visiting and someone decides, oh, we'll follow them and all, well, then they will have armed police. That's it. That's all they want. In the US, of course, everybody can pack their heaters if they want, which is that means, I'm trying not to say the word, but that means those devices that they need to protect themselves. Yeah, you can have your heater with you. But in the UK, as you know, most police do not have that type of stuff. And of course, the general public is not expected to have it. So when Harry goes over with his protection, with his bodyguards, they're not allowed to arm themselves. So they don't have the connection to the logistics that a real metropolitan police or royal protection officer would have. They don't have that. So that puts them at a disadvantage. And let's face it, there have been threats made against the Sussexes. They deserve this level of protection. So if you're going to protect the shelves of some of those stores on the high street, if you're going to protect those workers on the high street, you won't protect a member of the royal family, a senior member of the royal family, the last member of the royal family to find themselves in a field of battle, a war hero, a public servant, someone who still serves the public, and you won't protect them? You won't allow them to pay for their protection? Outrageous. Okay, I'm getting hot. I need to put some AC on. Hold on. Oh my God, it was 78. No wonder I'm hot. Whew. Okay. It is hot. All right. All right, we're good. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go on. So, are Harry and Meghan climate change hypocrites? I didn't want to talk about this, but I really didn't. They flew 4,000 miles to and from the Caribbean in a private jet after attending a summit that warned climate change is damaging children's mental health. What do you think? I don't think that's accurate. They flew from the Caribbean to Atlanta. They didn't fly from Atlanta to California. They flew from the Caribbean to Atlanta. They call the smaller planes puddle jumpers, right? That's the nickname of them, puddle jumpers. We don't know whose plane it was. We don't know how many people were on the plane. If you have more people flying, then the flight is more efficient. It may have been a charter flight. It may have been, I don't even know what type of plane it was. I don't know if that was mentioned at all, but let me tell you something. Some of those smaller jets can fly, let's say 25 people. Still not as efficient as, say, a, a Dreamliner or an Airbus, but still, it's more efficient if you're flying more people. We don't know whose plane it was. We don't know how many people were on board. We don't know if they hitched the ride with someone who was going that direction anyway. The Sussexes use private jets a fraction of the amount of time that most people use them that are of their income level, right? They don't own a private jet. They may actually have a membership to one of those like Air Uber things where you would share the expense or share the use of the plane with someone. There's a whole lot of we don't knows, but yet that did not prevent um, a paid victim, Jeremy Vine's show, from going on the attack. They don't have anything else to confront Harry with. So they thought that they would go for the low hanging fruit, right? Let us attack him on climate change. I don't know anything about Harry going to some event where they were talking about this or whatever, and I really don't care. When it comes to carbon emissions or the security of two of the most influential people in the world, two global leaders, two people who have committed their lives to the service of humanity as they have, I don't give a rat's behind how many times they use a private jet. I really don't care because that is the same argument that they will use for Charles or Willie for them to fly places because of a necessity of security, because of their schedules, because of God knows what. Leave Harry and Meghan alone. So when people ask me sometimes, don't you think all of the stuff that you say is just as bad as the rest of them? Well, if I don't push back, who else is going to do it? You have an entire industry, you have an entire media of the United Kingdom, Australia, and even parts of the United States that have piled up against or piled up on the Sussexes daily. And then there's just a handful of people who push back. Given the amount of vitriol that has been directed toward the Sussexes, all I can say is, so I don't care. I will push back when I choose to. Whatever I am able to do, I will do. Within reason, whatever I can do to push back, I'm going to push back. They do nothing but take it day after day, and they don't have a way to defend themselves. I always hear people say, well, they should just come out and say so and so. Yeah. And as soon as they do that, then that is when they're going to do just like they did with the Oprah show. They are going to go on rinse and repeat mode and try to do everything they can to pick apart every single syllable until they make it out to be something that it certainly is not. So, the hell with them. It's too bad. Somebody needs to push back. This is outrageous. They had nothing else that they could think of. So, let's go back to the climate change. Just the other day, I posted, I don't know how many things about William and his private jet use. I was going to do that today, but I didn't feel like it. I mean, I did that the other day. I'm not going to bother with that right now. Because, it's so hypocritical that Charles and William use their helicopters, as pedals say, like an Uber. And there's nothing said about it in the tabloid media. There was a time when they would sound off about it, but they don't do that anymore because of whatever alleged secret agreements that was made with the other members of the family, they go on the attack with the Sussexes and say nothing of the rest of them, nothing at all. Harry is the son of a head of state. Harry has committed his life to public service. Harry has so many things that he has done to help humanity. Meghan has done so many things to help humanity. And if their privacy, if their security requires a private jet, then I am here for it. I don't care. I don't care. It matters not to me. I want them to be afforded the same protection, the same conveniences that anybody else in that family is afforded. And when it's necessary, every member of the so called senior royals use those small private helicopters and jets. Even Princess Alexandra, the Duke of Gloucester, the Duke of Kent, all of them have had access to that. Even after the Queen died, they have had access to it. When they need to go someplace fast, Princess Anne will jump on a helicopter in a heartbeat. That is a lot of fuss for somebody to go and look at a light tower, but she does it. They fly all over the world, like Prince William flying all the way down to the Middle East so that he could plant a tree and so that he can offer the Queen's or Charles's, I think it was the Queen, to offer the Queen's condolences for a member of their family that died. And that perv flew all the way to New York so that he could offer his, actually not his condolences, so he could tell another perv that they're no longer friends. Where was the media when that happened? Well, I know they were hiding in the bushes taking photos, but where was the media when that happened? Where were they? How come they weren't so morally outraged when that happened? Where is their indignation and moral outrage when the rest of the family is flying private, taking unnecessary trips? They could easily take the train. The Queen even took the train on occasion just to remind people, you could take the train. You don't have to fly. Just to make sure that Queen Elizabeth, to be clear, Queen Elizabeth, just to be sure that she promoted those types of transportation, she routinely took the train. It may have only been a handful of times a year, even if it was twice a year. That is far more often than her son, the hypocrite, and her grandson, the hypocrite, Willie Leaks. And yet, once again, we find ourselves in the same situation where we're making a big to-do about Harry and Meghan using a small jet. A jet which we don't know the circumstances of it in any way whatsoever. Anybody who tries to convince you that they know exactly how many people were on board, who the plane belongs to, I suppose you can find the record of it, but I can assure you, for the purposes of that article, it doesn't matter. What matters is something that they can use as an indictment against Harry and Meghan. That's all that matters. I was no fan of Donald Trump. You all know that. But when it came to the protection of his family, when it came to the amount of expense that was necessary to protect the first family, or how much fossil fuel was burned to protect the first family, I have nothing to say about that, because that's part of the deal. You get in there, that's what goes with it. And as Harry was born to a future sovereign who is now a sovereign, because he was born into that situation, he is, or should I say, he should have been afforded a certain amount of protection. Harry, 99% of the time, has used commercial. Harry and Meghan, when they traveled throughout the UK, I cannot tell you how many times they took the train. When they went to Cardiff, they took the train. And yet, this is the hill that the tabloid media is choosing to wage the battle, is that they come from the Caribbean and flew 4,000 miles. I don't believe they flew 4,000 miles. It doesn't make sense. It's not 4,000 miles between the Caribbean and Atlanta, Georgia. That's not a 4,000-mile trip. I don't know how that's possible. Did I miss something? How many times have I heard, let's see, the Cuba is just 90 miles off the coast of Florida. I just don't believe that's, will somebody look that up? I may be wrong, but I don't think that's a 4,000-mile trip. Sao Paulo, Brazil is 5,000 miles away from me now. I don't think that's a 4,000-mile trip. But that's not the point. It doesn't have to be accurate. It just has to be toxic. And I'm sick of it. Do you hear me? Sick! I'm just sick of it. It's disgusting. And they should be ashamed of themselves. I need another 400 pages, Harry. Yes, that stunt they did when they flew that empty jet just so that they could try to do a one-upmanship on Harry and Meghan. If there was ever a really decent investigative reporter that went after these things, I just wish that someone with credentials would expose this, but they won't. They won't do it. They're not likely to do it because it involves government. It involves government. That institution is part of the government, and they're not going to do it. You can't expect an American media outlet to do something like that. If there's nothing else we've learned from what's happening in the world today, is that how all of these power brokers are connected. That much is glaringly obvious, that these power brokers are connected. So the expectation that they would ever expose the whole truth is not likely.
Fired on from all directions. Every time you open your phone, he's there. Every time you turn on your computer, he's there. And you know that what he's doing is he's adjusting or despoiling your digital self. Now, you may say, well, that doesn't matter, you just come offline. But the fact is that, you know, we live 70, 80, 90 years, but our digital presence goes on forever. And you can see yourself being dismantled. And you can't see it ending.
The judge actually said when he sentenced Belfield, you didn't meet or physically approach or watch any of your victims as a traditional stalker might have done. Your methods were, however, just as effective as a way of intimidating your victims and were in many ways much harder to deal with.
The danger came from the online traffic, not from the individual. I would have done anything to meet this guy and have a conversation with him face to face. He wouldn't have been threatening. He was probably a coward. But what he wanted to do was create so much hatred against me that someone acted by proxy. I'm absolutely certain that he knows, with 400,000 people watching those videos, that at some point someone is going to take a knife or acid to my home. Or the other thing is, he gets one of his victims to take their own life. We heard about someone trying exactly that in the court case, one of the victims. 2 of them describe themselves as becoming suicidal. That is not to be taken lightly. I think if the courts hadn't stopped Alex Belfield, somebody would have died.
Someone who stalks in person, we imagine to be hiding in the shadows. But what Alex Belfield and his army of followers was doing was in plain sight. Everyone could see it on Twitter and YouTube.
It's extraordinary. And I think there's a business model here, and this case has broken it, which is great news for everyone. But the original business model was started by Alex Jones in the USA, and it's basically selling massive amounts of misinformation on the basis that often lies are more interesting than truth.
Alex Jones is the man who said the Sandy Hook shooting did not happen.
That's right.
And was recently sued for libel by the parents of one of the children who was killed.
Correct. So you create a market for lies.
Was started by Alex Jones in the United States. Was started by Alex Jones in the United States? Seriously? You mean to tell me the British tabloid media, which he's a part of, that industrial media complex, you mean to tell me that that's something that was learned from the United States, or that this person who was stalking him learned from Alex Jones? As if. Jeremy Vine. And the thing that really hurts is that you all know that he knows better. There are just those rare moments where a bit of truth seeps into his mouth and comes out. But he quickly pulls it back. Very quickly. No sooner than he lets it out, then he pulls it back. There are many moments like that on the Jeremy Vine show.
Be on one side or family, a really polarizing subject that we either love to be on one side or the other of. And I think it's really unfair for us to make decisions about what they should be doing and whether they should be coming back. They're a family. If they want them to come back and they decide to spend time with their grandma, then they should do. And the idea that you're calling it could be a distraction and Prince Charles is worried. Well, the distraction proves that beside the Queen, Harry and Meghan are the most popular royals. And so basically,
I think they're the most
you only need to look at
controversial.
today's front pages and the whole weekend to see that Harry and Meghan, if they can splash a picture of Harry and Meghan anywhere with a headline, they will do it. So I'm a producer and I have also worked for Netflix. So I will say this to you. We all say that Harry and Meghan want their privacy, but they want to be in the public eye. They just didn't want to be bullied, abused and harassed by the press. They didn't say that they were never going to come out again and do things on their own terms.
No, they are for privacy.
Shining a light on the Invictus Games, heroes and veterans who should have a light shone on them.
You cannot be a royal and get rich, and Prince Andrew's tried to do that, and it's disastrous. At least they've said we divorce the royal family and we'll get rich separately.
Are you really holding them to different standards than the rest of the royal family? Because we have a whole list that we could bring up of Fergie, Andrew and all the rest of them who have tried to use their royal connections to get meetings and business deals for people outside of this country with our government. That you're holding them to completely different standards.
Let's have some calls.
People love them. They're popular.
That's very interesting, yeah.
Oh, Jeremy. A loser, a failure, and a short-sighted panty waist. That's Jeremy Clarkson or Jeremy Vine. Either one of them, they're interchangeable as far as I'm concerned. Torturous. That is torturous, but there you go. There you go. Now, one of the people that was on there today talking crazy was this individual right here, who actually tweeted some time ago. Let me see. What did she say? Moving forward, I will no longer do any discussions on TV with regards to Harry and Meghan unless Charles is not the dad. They split up. William tells Harry, kiss my whatever. I'm bored of it. Good Morning Britain was my final one. That was several television appearances ago. You cannot keep her off of television. As a matter of fact, anybody who cuts a check she'll show up. She'll sing for her supper. It's amazing that the classism in the UK has demolished the media and education. Why did Will and Kate go to a school to not use their degrees? Instead, they went for connections. It's how everyone operates. True, true, and so true. It's not what you know, it's who you know, especially with the aristocracy. That's the whole purpose and the whole point of it. It's only really a modern thing that uh, people have actually gone to school for an education amongst the aristocracy. But by and large, there are some that are still just there to find a spouse, to find connections. They go to Eton, and I mean, it's a who's who of the Tory party, and of course the Labor Party. There's a who's who of who went to public school. Boy, I tell you, that public school, which is different. Remember, that's different from what we would call a public school in the U.S. A public school is really a private school for the elites, the one percenters and such. Very different. And occasionally they will let some riffraff in, by their standard riffraff, only for that person to be bullied and belittled. Let's see. Lex says, first, does Will have an A? Second, I don't think H pegs. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to. All right. Well, thank you so much for that. Okay. And to continue, I'm going to get to that one. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get to that one because it's already been an hour. So I'm going to keep it moving. But thank you all for your comments. Oh, really? Taylor Swift was on TV with William once. She said she wasn't impressed at all. Good for her. I knew I liked her for some reason. I knew I liked her. Okay. Diane Hawkins says, Harry had a great day yesterday. So today, not surprisingly, clowns jump out of their wee cars to change the subject, hoping we'd chat up the nonsense if only we could ignore them. Yeah, well, they went on the blitz, didn't they? They went on the blitz. But that is why it's important to drop those truth bombs. You don't have to engage with the trolls. You don't have to argue with the trolls. Just drop those truth bombs. Do whatever you can to slow the momentum and to remind people of the hypocrisy. That's it. Just remind people of the hypocrisy. If it wasn't for the pushback from the Sussex squad, the Harry and Meghan, they would be in a very different place right now if it wasn't for the pushback. Yeah, if it wasn't for the pushback. One of the things that I learned looking at Robert Jobson on one of those shows is that he said, you got to be careful what you say because these people, the Sussex squad, that bothers them. That bothers them when the Sussex squad push back. It really does have a lingering effect. So we cannot pretend like it doesn't. It has a lingering effect. It makes them think twice before they lie. It makes them think twice before they mislead. It really does. So my advice again, do push back. Don't make it personal and don't threaten anybody. But hit them with those truth bombs. use those truth bombs sparingly, but put it out there. First and foremost, though, protect your mental health. I mean, some of those places on social media, you really, really can mess yourself up by looking at some of the stuff that they post. It'll take your breath away. But as long as you're injecting the truth, not cartoons, not they go through a lot of trouble to try to make Harry and Meghan look gross and disgusting. That bothers me when they do that. But if you just remind them of the hypocrisy, just the occasional screenshot that you share, that will slow the momentum. It has an effect. It reminds everybody involved what the truth is. And it's necessary. I mean, just during the video, you guys said, oh, no, it was, 2,000 miles from here to there. And again, we don't know the circumstances of the flight. But I do know this much. If it costs a little extra for them to be safe, then I'm for it. If it takes more carbon emissions for them to be safe, then I'm for it. They're not just out frolicking. What they do for work serves a purpose. Work hard, play hard. That's how we do it in the U.S. Work hard, play hard. Let's see. Oh, okay. I brought you into the live chat. Hi, everyone. I'm catching up with paperwork. Oh, good for you. Thank you so much for being here. All right. So I think I'm going to go on to the next topic. Yeah. Let me see. All right. So from Tuesday the 31st of October to Friday the 3rd of November, Charles and Camilla, they are going to be in Kenya. Yes, they're going to be in Kenya. And you all, if you were expecting something like Republic, I would say in all likelihood, they're probably going to have a really good visit. I'm just saying, I think everything is going to go their way. There seems to be too much buzz and too much excitement about their visit. Now, that being said, there's always that possibility that some rogue element might be there to give them the what for. But I won't bet the farm on it. Let me play this for you.
Expected to visit the country later this month. The trip, announced by Buckingham Palace, will be Charles's first to Kenya since he succeeded his.
And as Grace Korea Kanjo reports, the 4-day visit follows an invitation by President William Ruto. This even as Kenya prepares to celebrate 60 years of independence from Britain.
Upon the invitation of President Ruto, Their Majesty's program will reflect the ways in which Kenya and the United Kingdom are working together, notably to boost mutual prosperity, tackle climate change, promote youth opportunity and employment, and create a more stable and secure region.
This will be His Majesty's first visit to a Commonwealth country since their inauguration.
King Charles will deepen his understanding of the painful chapters in the history of the UK and Kenya, including the challenging emergency period between 1952 and 1960.
His Majesty will take time during the visit to deepen his understanding of the wrongs suffered in this period by the people of Kenya.
It is worth noting that Kenya holds a unique place in history because it was here in February 1952 that Queen Elizabeth II began her remarkable reign, having acceded to the throne.
Highlights of the program will include a ceremonial welcome at State House and bilateral meetings between the King and the President and the Queen and the First Lady,
King Charles's visit is not just about diplomacy. He will also explore the United Nations office in Nairobi, gaining insight into the vital work of the UN Habitat and the UN Environment Program. He will also attend a technology showcase, meeting Kenyan entrepreneurs. A pivotal stop in their journey will be the Nairobi National Park, where His Majesty will witness the vital conservation work being undertaken by the Kenya Wildlife Service. The King, as Captain General of the Royal Marines, and Her Majesty the Queen will visit Mtongwe Naval Base in Mombasa. Queen Camilla, with her compassion and advocacy, will also meet survivors of sexual and gender-based violence. Her experiences working in this field making this a personal and impactful encounter. The King will also attend an event to celebrate the life and work of the Nobel laureate, the late Professor Wangari Maathai, together with Wangari's daughter, Wanjira Maathai.
Okay, that's enough of that. Sorry, the audio was not that great. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, it sounds to me like they're pretty stoked, hyped, or whatever. It sounds like they're pretty excited for the visit. As a matter of fact, when they were describing, what did they say? The troubles of the past? The troubles of the past? Wasn't there some type of like massacre or something like that? Oh, so it is a very generic report. It's it doesn't warn of anything. It doesn't. It just, hi, guess who's coming to visit? Guess who's coming to dinner? So, like I said, I don't think that there's going to be much by way of trouble or controversy or whatever. It seems to me like it's going to be a very run-of-the-mill visit. There's a reason why they're going to Kenya first. There's a reason why Kenya is their first stop to a Commonwealth country. Also, it has been said, it has been alleged by some people within the Sussex squad that one of the reasons why they feel very good about going is because Ford Fiesta has been going back and forth for what, months now. And seeing that Ford Fiesta hasn't got a really bad reception, chances are everything is going to go their way. So why not go to Kenya first? I think they're going to be just fine. I don't think they would go if they suspected that there was going to be any problems. So they probably have ironed out everything down to the last detail. Yeah. So that's that. That's why I said don't hold your breath for Kenya. Don't expect to hear like a big outcry for reparations or anything like that. Now, there was this spot of bother. For me, the day they will make peace with their son, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, maybe I will look at them differently. Right now, there's something just seems to have broken, like I no longer feel the excitement. King Charles traveled to Kenya next week. So that is a quote from one of the individuals that's sitting there. I will play that sound bite for you. I hope the sound doesn't mess up again. I'm not pleased with that last one, but here goes.
King Charles, indeed, he's actually gonna come. He's gonna come to.
Okay, let me try it again.
Yes, he is coming. Edmund, King Charles, indeed, he's actually gonna come. He's gonna come to Kenya, the first country.
Is it the third or the second?
The third, the second, the 50th, the newest.
I actually like King Charles. I like King Charles.
Why? Interesting. Why would you? Why? Under what premise? Why? Why do you like King Charles?
Okay, I like the royal family. Me too. I like them, but of course they're humans. You know, listen, they're humans, and they've fallen short. I don't like the way they've treated Meghan Markle. I completely do not like that. I don't like the way they have treated their own son, Prince Harry. And I've seen, King Charles should apologize. He should start by apologizing, dealing with the matters of his own family.
Now, let me interrupt and say this. The first voice that you heard was the gentleman in the upper left. The only woman that you're going to hear is the one wearing the light dress, the one with the smoothly shaved head. That's the only woman that you're going to hear on this clip. And anyway, let me continue.
Fast.
Before
He, like, how can he cut off his own child like that? I
think-
don't like the way they've dealt, especially with that black woman, Meghan Markle.
She's not fully black.
Forget.
Notice how when she said that black woman, when you see him point his finger like that, he said, she's not fully black. She's not fully black. That is why he's pointing his finger like that. He's the one who asked her, why are you excited about the royals? Why do you like the royal family? And then, of course, he's the first one to yell, she's not fully black. So just so you have a little reference as to what's going on here.
Especially with that black woman, Meghan Markle.
She's not fully black.
Forget it. She's black. In our world, she's black.
She's not fully black. Okay, but here's the thing.
No. They have, in certain ways. First of all, I started by saying I love the royal family. I love what they represent, and I'm just saying I don't like these aspects about them. The aspects of the fact that. First of all, we have to understand they are in power, and power is not given. You take it and you maintain it. If you've watched The Crown, you understand, which is just a depiction of actually what may have happened. Like, these people, they have to sacrifice a lot to be in the positions that they are in. But we are living in a different world. For me, the day they will make peace with their son, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, maybe I'll look at them differently. Right now, something just seems to have broken. Something is broken. Like, I no longer feel the excitement. And I'm on record as having organized the 1 million party. And I remember people calling me and saying that, do you know, why are you celebrating? Why are Kenyans celebrating the royal wedding?
Yeah, why?
We had a live transmission of the wedding of Prince William. He did but because the Commonwealth thing, look, we cannot even write our own history without talking about the Britons.
Yes, he is coming.
So there you go. Now, there is a much longer video. I shared 2 minutes, but I think it's a 10-minute conversation. And I'll try to make sure I add that link at some point. But there you go. This is why I say, don't expect a lot of pushback from Kenya. It looks like they're just way too excited. And you know what? If that's what the people in Kenya want, then God bless them. I'm sure that these individuals do not speak for most people in Kenya. It might be more people that support them. It may be less people that are supportive of the royal family, the monarchy, the colonial roots, whatever the case may be. That's their prerogative. I have to say that I'm a little disappointed that there isn't much, at least a conversation about the reparations and such. You're not getting much of that. Pam Porter says she's black enough. Her black people need to include. Yeah, the whole colorism stuff like that. I don't fool with colorism. I just don't. It's like with anything else. If you're going to argue about who can and who cannot use the ladies' room, who's going to be the person that's going to, make people prove that they're supposed to be there, right? Who can and who cannot cross the border? Are you going to sit on the border and take shots at people to keep them from coming? Because if you're not willing to do that, then I don't see the point with all of this. You're not going to send all the immigrants back. There's a lot of things that people are upset about that you just are not going to change as an individual. The government policies that allow certain things to happen, you need to get out and vote. If you don't like it, don't boo, vote. That's the whole thing. You got to vote. And if the people of Kenya are okay with the royals coming, if they don't want to have a conversation about bloodshed or reparations or the history of colonialism, then I guess that's their prerogative. I don't fully understand what the politics are at play, but obviously there must be some opportunity there for people that they want to take advantage of. The president of Kenya invited the king and queen to show up, queen consort. They were invited. They are coming at the invitation of the government. So it's tough, you guys. It's really tough. I don't understand, or at least I won't say I don't understand, but I don't feel the connection to monarchy because that's not the way I was raised, right? And even though there are some people who believe that I am a monarchist or that I love the royal family or something like that, those are people who really don't know me. It's a novelty. It is a novelty. It is going to Disney World for me. Going to the UK is like going to Disney World. I don't go to the UK to be enlightened. I go there to look at castles and ruins and this and that. I go there to eat. I go there to hear Black people talk with that funny accent. That's why I go to the UK. I don't go there so that I can lift and support and uphold the monarchy. I really don't care. It's a novelty for me. That's it. And I don't know how many other Americans feel that way, but I know that's how I feel. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that the monarchy is still there. I thought when the Queen died, that they would be like, you know what, this was really interesting, but it is 2022. It is 2023. Well, so far that hasn't happened. We're going the other direction. Not my problem. Not my problem. I don't have to pay for them. I spent more money in the UK than I could have ever imagined. I enjoyed every moment of it, but I don't have a real use for the royal family. I don't think it's necessary. It's a novelty. It is just a curiosity. It is a costume drama. And I don't have anything else to add to it. That's it. It's a costume drama. The pomp, the pageantry, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's interesting. I told you guys, I'm going to watch the Coronation. Of course, I'm going to watch it. I've never seen one before. I'm not hostile toward them as an institution, but I am angry about the way the Sussexes were treated. I'm very disappointed with the way Charles has turned against his youngest son. All of those things bother me, but I don't hate any of them. But I'm going to call them out. I'm going to call them out. If I see something I think is not right, I'm going to call them out. When it comes to calling them out, I will choose a side. I have chosen. That's done. That's already done. But if the people that are on that screen are excited for the King and Queen concert to show up, I respect that. I respect that. You know, you think about the history and you wonder, how could they be so excited? Well, they are. And as for the politicians, having Charles show up will bolster their image on the global stage. There's one thing about that circus coming to town that is always helpful to politicians is that it helps to bolster your image. So that is going to be done at the public expense. The other thing I want to say is, as excited as they are, wait until they get close to them. You know, it's one thing when you see a person on television, but when you see them up close, when you see them up close, it's a whole nother experience. So, for everyone who's excited about them coming, all I can say is don't get too close to them, because this kind of reminds me of something from a laboratory experiment. This seems like something that formaldehyde has been used on, right? I almost feel like the next thing that they do is they add some formaldehyde. That's what I notice when I look at those two. So, um, oh yeah, yeah. That looks like an experiment with formaldehyde, sawdust, theatrical makeup. What was that line from the movie Frankenstein? It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! Oh, you know how sometimes kids are afraid when they see old people? This is a classic example of old people are scary. I'm older myself and I'm afraid. So if you want Charles and Camilla, have them. Have them. But all I can say is don't look too close. Do not look too close. Do you remember the coronation when Charles was wearing all that heavy makeup? You see it? He was wearing all that heavy makeup. God, that was scary. Looking all pasty. Hello. Hello. Hello, darling. Hello. Welcome to Kenya. You can have them. Okay, so I'm done with them. Now, something's missing, but not for long. For the first time ever, Byline Times monthly print edition will be available in stores across the country, kickstarting the launch with a world exclusive story. Check out your W.H. Smith's, Waitrose, and local news agent from Thursday. And then someone commented, can't wait, at least a newspaper that dares to hold the rest of the non-dom rags and their Tory whipping boys to account. We need Byline Times more than ever, and nice to see it being a disruptive presence amongst country life and good housekeeping in Waitrose. So yeah, pretty soon they're going to have a print edition of the Byline Times, a monthly print edition. So that's good news, right? I'm late to the game. This book was a great look into the secrecy in the monarchy, secrecy in the monarch, a rare view from none other than Prince Harry himself. Heartbreaking, captivating, finding himself while trying to navigate a complex life of rules and protocol. Hashtag spare, hashtag Prince Harry. I like that. So yeah, this person is a critic, I think a film critic or just a critic of whatever. Anyway, she's kind of late to the game. Oh, she's a movie critic, home movie critic. Yeah. Anyway, she's kind of late to spare, as she admits herself, but it doesn't matter. Long as she's gotten there in the end, that's all that matters is that she picks up that book or listen to the audio and learn the truth. That's what we care about, is the truth. Good news for Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry has formalized a new creative partnership with Netflix to write, direct, and produce feature films under a multi-year first look deal. That's right. Tyler Perry is working with Netflix. And anyway, he is going to write and produce and so on and so forth. So that was the good news for Tyler Perry in the Variety today. Is that he has ironed out a deal with, what you call it, the Netflix. Oh, what is this? By the way, thank you everyone for the I get some stuff in my inbox sometimes, which is pretty fun and usually quite topical. So thank you to everyone who has inboxed me with some with some information and data and stuff like that that has helped the mission here at Royal Sussex. Okay. Wait a minute. What is that again? Let me take a look. I'm sorry. Oh, there we go. I wanted to share the article from Variety, just a little bit of it. Oh, there it is right there. But I misplaced it. But I found it. I have found it. Let me see here. Wanted to share some information of what's happening with Bruh Tyler. Bruh Tyler. Oh my goodness. All right, hold on a second. I'll find it. Just a few of the details I want to share with you. Oh, here it is right here. Okay, so Tyler Perry has formalized a new creative partnership with Netflix to write, direct, and produce feature films under a... Didn't I have that already? Did I have that already? Oh. You know what? It was right there on the next page. Never mind. I thought I had misplaced it, but... Sorry, I thought I had misplaced it. A multi-year first look deal. The pack spans 8 pictures over 4 years. Perry already has 5 films under his belt as a streamer. A Fall from Grace, Medea Homecoming, the period drama, a Jasmine Blues longtime passion project produced from his first screenplay written 27 years prior, the upcoming World War II set drama 6888, and the thriller Mea Culpa. Endeavor and TKO CEO Ari Emanuel teased the new pack that is, at Bloomberg Media Screen Time Conference on October the 11th. During the talk, Emanuel revealed that he just closed deals at Netflix for David Ellison, the Skydance animation movie, announced last week, and Tyler Perry pressed about the partnership. In his own screen time conversation, Perry played coy. That is, he talked too much. Perry joked, meaning that Ari Emanuel talks too much. But anyway, Perry joked about that. Nothing that the deal hadn't been announced. Not that the deal hadn't been announced yet. I'll wait for them to announce it. But yeah, Netflix has been an incredible partner to work with, and so is Amazon. It's been really incredible, and that's all I'll say about it. So, yeah, there you go. Tyler Perry is taking care of his business. His business. As the news of Netflix deal becomes public, Perry already has 2 projects in the works. 6888 tells the inspiring truth of the 6,888th Postal Directory Battalion, the only all-black, all-female battalion to serve overseas during World War II. Producer and star Kerry Washington leads a stellar ensemble cast, including Oprah Winfrey, Ebony Obasidian, Milana Jackson, Kylie Jefferson, Shanice Shante, Sarah Jeffrey, Pepe Sanuga, and is that Jante? Is it Gente Godlock? Mororia Brown, Dean Norris, Scott Daniel Johnson. Perry wrote the screenplay based on an article by Kevin M. Himmel, published in World War II History magazine by Sovereign Media. Yeah, Sovereign Media. I was about to say Media, which helped bring the story of the 6,888th Battalion to more prominent attention. So there you go. A lot to look forward to coming from Tyler Perry. I don't suspect Medea is going to be in that movie. Now, on a lighter note, take a look at your screen. Egg and dart, also known as egg and tongue, egg and anchor, or egg and star. So if you've seen it and you didn't know that it had a name, it does have a name. You see that? Those little rounded, egg-shaped embellishments that you see like on crown molding or on capitals, you see that? They call it egg and dart. Another name for it is egg and claw, because it looks like someone is holding, like a bird of prey is holding an egg with its claw. You see that? With its talon. So images of architectural egg and claw and architecture. So you've seen it, but you didn't know that it had a name, right? Right. Anyway, because I love architecture so much, I'd always like to know what those things are called or what it represents. So I guess it's like some type of whatever from Greek mythology, because, well, it started with Greek architecture. It was adapted by the Romans. And even today, whenever you see like a Greek temple style building, a Greek revival building, then it has something to do with like the Parthenon and all those ancient temples and structures. Fast forward to 2023, you can see here another example of the egg and claw. That is a walking stick, and you can see that whoever carved it carved the talon with the egg, stuck in the claw like that. And even more bizarre than that, right? Because that is rather bizarre to look at. There are some people who have adapted the egg and claw. Like, for instance, the newly minted Princess of Wales. For some reason, I don't know, maybe it's being surrounded by all that classic architecture, she too has adopted the egg and claw. As a matter of fact, she won't stop doing the egg and claw. I don't know if those injuries may stem from the egg and claw or the egg and dart, whatever you want to call it, but she just won't stop doing it. It's like I don't know if it's arthritis, maybe there's rheumatoid arthritis or something, but she won't stop doing that claw thing. She has a conversation and she keeps clawing at people. Maybe that's where these minor injuries are coming from, is that she clawed at the wrong person. You know what I mean? There's people in my neighborhood that you ought not claw at. There's people in my family that you ought not claw at. So um, it is a very ancient architectural reference, but you don't really see that many people doing it, right? I mean, I've had a full body massage and I don't remember that. So um, I'm just saying, it also makes for a fun Halloween costume. Kate Claw Middleton. Kate the Claw Middleton. Anyway, I bet you were wondering where I was going with that. I wasn't sure for a second, but then I finally got there in the end, and that's all that matters. So now, because of me, every time you walk into a neoclassical building, whenever you walk into a Greek revival building, you're going to think about me and you're going to think about Kate with that weird clawing motion that she does, where she's, yeah. I'm telling you, something ain't right with that girl. You know, moms maybe say nowadays, if you see somebody normal, you think something ain't right. She said, if you see somebody normal, you think something just ain't right with them. Kate. Now, head of UK Civil Service, Simon Case, out on medical leave. Young, strapping, healthy Simon Case on medical leave? Leave comes at a difficult time for Rishi Sunak, both geopolitically and domestically. So the UK government senior official will step back from his what the heck is that? Let me see. From his job. Well, that's clever. From his job and take medical leave at a critical moment. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's three government officials confirmed to Politico. Simon Case, who has led the UK civil service since September 2020, is expected to be gone for a number of weeks, the officials said, on condition of anonymity, because they were not authorized to speak publicly. The news comes at a difficult time for Rishi Sunak's administration, which faces conflict in Ukraine and the Middle East, as well as a considerable domestic challenge. Case was also due to give evidence, was due to give evidence to the UK pandemic inquiry about the government's handling of the pandemic in the coming weeks. He was personally under pressure after the probe published phone messages earlier this month in which he appeared to mock former Prime Minister Boris Johnson's handling of the crisis. So, how interesting. You're welcome, Benny Blair. How interesting that Simon Case, who is very young for someone to have so much responsibility, how interesting Simon Case is unable to show up for work. Well, Simon Case, suddenly he's too ill to attend. This is the same Simon Case who worked at Kensington Palace with William and Kate, right? That's Simon Case. Part of that axis of evil, if you ask me, you have callous, corrupt, craven, contemptible, culpable. allegedly all of those things. They are allegedly callous. Okay, I'm going to say that's a fact. Craven, I'm going to say that's a fact. But as for the other ones, I'm going to say allegedly corrupt. Contemptible, I'm going to keep that one. And culpable, asterisk. And then there's the others, Sarah Latham, Amy Pickering, Pickerill, whatever, Samantha the Panther, Samantha Cohen, right? Remember her? How about Christian Jones, who just left, didn't even know he was still working there? Jason Knopf, probably the worst of the worst. And then there's Simon Case. These are the people that William and Kate were depending on. These are the people that the Sussexes had to face in order to serve the Queen, which explains why they left. Now, I'm not making an indictment about any of them because I wasn't there. I just have my hunches and my feelings about it, just raw emotions. Uh, it's just how I feel. It's a feeling. I don't have the facts. I only have my feelings. Although some parts of my discontent with these people is based upon facts. So, like it's a fact that they were all answering to William first and Harry and Meghan second. That's a fact. That if anybody was to run roughshod over the people that supposedly were working for the Sussexes, it was William. They had no choice but to answer to them. As a matter of fact, I can look at a couple of them and say, for sure, that's the only person that they would answer to. They would pretend to be supportive, allegedly, of the Sussexes, only to turn around and pull the rug from under them. Audrey Teschner, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. So, former civil servant is suing the Cabinet Office and his head, Simon Case, for direct discrimination and harassment, right? That's Simon Case. Now, to be fair to Simon Case, I'm sure he would deny anything to do with anything, but he has been quite controversial from day one. But if you're someone like a Boris Johnson or a Rishi Sunak, you want somebody who's willing to be unpopular, to walk that fine line. That's Simon Case. That is Simon Case. This is someone who and look at that one. This photo haunts me for one big reason. It's just there. I felt like there was some really rogue elements lurking behind Harry and behind Meghan while they were out working for the Queen, representing the Crown, and on official duty. If you ever need to sort out why did they have to leave, if you don't know by now, if you haven't figured it out, if you don't know why they didn't just tough it out and stay, sometimes when the odds are stacked up against you, there is no other choice but to retreat. If the institution is working against you, if you have to fight an institution, it is much better to do it from the outside than from the inside. Because on the inside, especially when, the issue of inheriting the throne is automatic that it's going to go to one individual here and the next individual there, you don't really have a fair a way, or what is it, an even playing field. So it only makes sense to leave, especially when the only thing that is left for you in that institution is to make them look good. They abuse you and you make them look good. Not a really fair trade off. It's really not fair. See what I mean? Just there's something so wrong about this for so many reasons. Could you imagine? That's all I'm going to say is, could you imagine someone who is nice and fair and balanced like Meghan, a sweetheart in anybody's book, with these types of people plotting against her, allegedly? It's not a winning situation. And I get that you want to go in, you want to work hard, you want to be a team player, but if the odds are stacked against you, if you want to play for the team and the team is playing against you, best thing to do is just go. Just leave. Huh. She was made a commander of the Royal Victorian Order by the Queen in 2016. That is the highest order that someone in that position could have received from the Queen. And there she is. The only time that she ever smiled was when she got that Victorian Order. Other than that, there's no real smiles. There's just that crap eating grin. But the only real smile, look at there, even showing some teeth that time, is when the Queen pinned that honor on. Wow. Go figure. That's a shady looking individual. Shady. She is the Queen's former assistant private secretary. Since joining Buckingham Palace 17 years ago, Cohen has moved up the ranks, landing deputy press secretary in 2003 and getting the top job in 2007, becoming the first woman to be appointed in the role. The Mail reports she was also named Commander of the Royal Victorian Order by Queen Elizabeth in 2016. And then what did she do after that? Well, she went and worked for Boris Johnson. Samantha the Panther went and worked for Boris Johnson. Now, remember, this is one of the people that the Sussexes had to deal with. And lurking in the background there's what's his name? Jason Knopf. Just like a horror movie, there's Jason Knopf lurking in the background. Who knows what he's thinking? Who knows what he's contemplating? But let me play a little soundbite for you. This is Dickie Arbiter speaking about Jason handing over those emails, hand-picking emails, not in proper context, mind you, but just what they thought would help the Daily Mail defeat the Duchess of Sussex in her copyright case, right? So Jason Knopf, who was the communication secretary for Harry and Meghan, are you listening? He was their communication secretary, but he seemed to answer only to William, really. So after they filed a lawsuit that nobody wanted them to file because of whatever alleged deals that were made between William, the $1 million he received, or whatever the amount was, and whatever possible deal that may or may not have been in writing, that deal, which may or may not have happened, is the same deal that seems to be in place today, seeing that you have a tabloid newspaper that is owned by a racially ambiguous Lord Nappyhead that seems to do nothing from day to day but crap all over the Sussexes, which truly is a daily fail, right? So Jason Knopf turned over those emails to the newspaper's lawyers so that they could introduce it in court as a way to prove their case against the Duchess of Sussex. Interesting. All right, so why would he do something like that? If he was working for the Sussexes, and of course, still working for William at the same time, I'm convinced of that. why would you turn against your former employer? Well, there would have to be someone in authority that would release him of any obligation of confidentiality. But who would be able to do that? Who would release him from his obligation to keep his trap shut? Oh, that's who would do it. Yeah, I understand. That evil, malicious brother of Harry's, that menace, that angry, jealous person, that's who would do that. Okay, so let me get the soundbite for you. Again, let me set this up for you. This is Dickie Arbiter. Oh, wait, where's the sound? Oh, sorry about that.
Do you think that Kate and William had approved his decision to do this?
I would put my money on it.
The
process would have been, as we know, is that the Mail on Sunday had the ruling against them in February, and they were then appealing it. So it was lawyers from the Mail on Sunday who would have approached Jason Naff, knowing that these emails and messages existed. That would have been the point. Unless, the most likely outcome is that Jason obviously would have then gone to William and Kate, and clearly he has cooperated. He would not have cooperated with those lawyers without their definite knowledge.
Do you, in your opinion, do you think that Kate and William had approved his decision to do this?
I would put my money on it.
The process would have been, as we know, is that the Mail on Sunday had the ruling against them in February, and they were then appealing it. So it was lawyers from the Mail on Sunday who would have approached Jason Naff, knowing that these emails and messages existed. That would have been the point. Unless, the most likely outcome is that Jason obviously would have then gone to William and Kate, and clearly he has cooperated. He would not have cooperated with those lawyers without their.
So that was Dickie Arbiter who said, I would have put my money on it. Dickie Arbiter was a press secretary for the Queen. In other words, Dickie Arbiter at one time had the same job that Samantha the Panther had, right? So you see, it was so much stacked up against Harry and Meghan. There was a no-win situation, and that's just the way it is. They're winning away from the institution. They could not win inside the institution because the loyalties were stacked up against them. It was just a no-win situation. Harry wanted desperately to serve the crown, serve the Queen with his brother, their respective spouses, and be this amazing team that would go out and do good in the world. But it wasn't meant to be, because William was not going to share the spotlight with his brother. And certainly William and Kate was not going to share that spotlight with Harry and Meghan. That just was not going to happen. It wasn't a possibility. And from what we learned in Spare, William even warned him, let's not get carried away, Harry. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. And how sad it is for Meghan that she had this idea of using that platform to continue the work that she's always done. If someone offers you a platform like that, and yes, you're going to do that work without pay, which is not unusual because the First Lady of the United States does not have a salary. They may have a household budget, but they don't have a salary. So essentially, Meghan would have been a public servant to that institution without pay. She would have received whatever compensation that was given to Harry. And they didn't even want to set aside any extra money for Meghan. They wanted her to spend her own money, right? So that seems kind of weird, but if you're not a slave to money, which I don't suspect Meghan is a slave to money, she's definitely devoted to quality of life, but I don't think that the amounts are the most important thing. It's the quality of life and being able to do good, to do charity. She was intellectualized from childhood to do that. And so that's what she wanted to continue to do. And the fact that she met and fell in love with a prince, and let's face it, Harry has a lot of swag. He has a lot to offer. He's not just a title. He's a motivated person. He's a life coach. He's been through a lot. He's experienced a lot. He can teach a lot. You can learn from him. He can learn from you. Who doesn't want that in a relationship? So it's not so outrageous that someone would walk away from a career that was, kind of winding down. It was the seventh year of the series. It was kind of winding down. And people switch careers all the time. That's not a big deal. I could see why a sinister mind would say, oh, she's just a gold digger. But having known Harry for a week, you would know Harry didn't really have any money. Harry had something stashed away that he didn't really access. Harry was living basically in royal squalor. And if you didn't run from that, what would you run from, right? If somebody invites you to go to the bush to have a vacation to get to know each other better, that your date is just going to the outback or going to the rainforest or whatever. And like Harry said, I'm thinking, wow, there's this Hollywood actress. Is she gonna be comfortable? Will she reach for her makeup case? Is she capable of roughing it? And the answer was yes. That she didn't care about how her hair looked. She didn't care about whether or not she had makeup on. As we know, Megan goes out all the time with her hair in a bun. She's not always walking around with that big hair and all that kind of stuff. She doesn't take herself that serious. She's roll up your sleeves, let's get it done. So there's no reason to believe that their love is not genuine. And the fact that she was willing to share her time with that institution speaks volumes. She didn't try to have this long distance relationship. She was in it to win it. And they took advantage of her good nature. They had already taken advantage of Harry over and over again, but they took advantage of her good nature. I understand where Megan is coming from. I mean, I am painfully positive sometimes. I always want to see the good in people. I want to believe that there's some good in a person. And yes, when that happens, sometimes you get burned, but you know what? You don't let bad people, you don't let evil people change who you are. You don't give in to their nonsense, but you don't let them change who you are. As evident by the fact that when it was time to go, they left. They left. And now the institution is in a panic. Now they're in a panic. I don't know anything else they could have done that would have been more of a blow to their egos than walking away and taking Harry with you. That messed them up. That's where the anger and the vitriol comes from. Is it actually is exhausting the institution. And as for the tabloid media, well, we know that hit them in the pocket. That's why every story, you could talk about crop rotation, right? Even if you're talking about crop rotation, oh, this year we'll plant cotton, next year we'll plant peanuts. And by the way, Harry and Meghan took a private jet. You know what I mean? You could talk about something as typical as crop rotation, and somehow you are going to add Harry and Meghan if you want people to read the article, right? That's the only way you're going to get them to look at it. That is how bad off the institution and the tabloid media are. I know it seems like they're in a position of power, but they're really not. As they say, it is the last gasp of a dying empire. And as for the tabloid media, they are scrambling to compete with independent voices like yours and like mine. And Harry said when they lose the message, that's really going to mess them up. They're so afraid of losing the message. When they cannot indoctrinate people with nonsense, then they've lost. Meghan Markle's private messages handed over with William's approval, palace veteran, meaning Dickie Arbiter and that other guy. William and Kate Kensington Palace staff accused of briefing the press against Meghan and Harry. Well, we know that's been happening. They have been briefing the press. And to you hate listeners who think that, oh, it's just about money. They only want money. They're just trying to capitalize on their titles. This happened. This happened to Harry. Harry's not some big money person, but he's going to secure his family. You can count on that. He's going to do what it takes to secure his family. He has been attacked and maligned. He's been plotted against ever since he was a child. And that's not an exaggeration. He has every right to start a family. He has every right to marry, whether he's in that institution or not. That is his right. And to try to take that away from him just so he can follow you around and make you look good, you can forget that. How long was that going to last? Prince William found it very difficult to play second favorites to popular Prince Harry. True. And as for Battle of the Brothers, you know, that book was rewritten. They added some chapters, as you can see, fully revised and updated, including 12 new chapters. The book wasn't so bad the first time around, but by the time they reworked it, right? And plus, Robert Lacey, that was someone that people would find believable. So whatever deal that Robert Lacey made to add those 12 chapters to the book or whatever, you know, people chose their sides of the brothers' relationships. People had to make a choice. And as for the people who were dependent on that institution, well, we all know what side they came down on. So there's the co-conspirators right there. And right behind William's egg head is Jason Knopf. Only one person of color, the driver, who is by the door so that he can go back out there and finish polishing the car, polishing the Range Rovers. They only invited him in last minute just to try to add a little color to the environment. Otherwise, he has no role inside of that house. That very Polynesian looking man there in the background, he is just there for atmosphere. He has no role in the big picture. He's only there for window dressing. But as soon as they took that photo, I'm pretty sure everybody turned and looked at him, and he quickly evacuated the room. Jealous, petty. That's it. Jealous and petty. And that's where the cruelty comes from. His whole life, he's been trying to prove himself worthy of his position over Harry. And Harry played along all that time. They had even convinced Harry that there was something special about William. You know, hearing that come out of my mouth, it almost choked on the words. But seriously, they had convinced Harry had to convince himself, I'm sure, that there was something logical and special about William, when the truth is, there isn't. He's common, not so bright, moody, unworthy of the position that he's in. His temperament makes him unworthy for his position, just like Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton said it over and over again. Temperamentally, he is unfit for the position. He's unfit for public office. Donald Trump made a mockery of the United States presidency, and William has made a mockery of his position, not only as a brother, but as a Prince of Wales, and even as the Duke of Cambridge. He has made a mockery of his position. Instead of protecting his brother, he has aided and abetted all the people that singled Harry out to be the patsy. If you guys have listened to the, I posted a video yesterday about the way that they made the case against Harry. Harry had fallen prey of the tabloids. They had that vendetta because they were trying to prove him to be a drug addict. They had a vendetta against him. They were trying to protect other people in the family, not necessarily William, but perhaps Camilla's son, allegedly, possibly, and considerably. Maybe that's who they were trying to protect. But they were trying to protect someone. And most of all, they were trying to protect the reputation of the institution by throwing Harry to the wolves. And all of this is happening in the plain light of day. And you have a population of royalists who thinks that it's okay. If you wonder how stuff like this can happen, just look at what's going on in the Middle East. Look at how people are looking the other way and how long people have looked the other way. Even where children were involved, they looked the other way. Well, Harry was a child and they looked the other way. William was a child. They looked the other way. They haven't done William a favor by raising him as this entitled pain in the butt. His life has been ruined. If it wasn't for his position, he wouldn't be fit for anything at this point. He's certainly not fit for purpose of being a monarch. Okay, so on to a lighter topic. Royal Dansk, Danish butter cookies. As we were discussing the other day, when I mentioned it, I didn't really know that it was that big of a thing. I mean, I knew it was a thing. I knew it was something that I grew up with, but I didn't know that it was, so universal. So you could see there the obligatory sewing kit. I mean, everybody's obliged to have one, right? So there's the sewing kit. Very typical for a household. And what better container to keep those needles and maybe some small scissors, pin cushions, stick pins, and measuring tape. What better place to keep it than in a Royal Dansk Danish butter cookie container? I got one myself. Well, as you can see here, they come in a variety of sizes, but the one typical size is the one that you see right here. That's usually what everybody has, is that one right there. But anyway, been eating those my whole life, as evident, right? But as evident, my thighs say Royal butter cookies. Yeah, my thighs, my midriff, everything screams butter cookie, and lots of them. Um, okay, so there's a video. I'm not sure I can share it, so I won't. But someone inboxed me, and like I said, I get some interesting things. Sometimes I don't see them, but you can see this person who is probably not actually a woman walks over to the trash bin and steps on the pedal, opens it up, and dumps the cookies out. And then, of course, he, she, they, them walks over to the sideboard and rakes all of the sewing kit into the cookie tin. And then, of course, they replace the lid and hold up the cookie tin so that they can celebrate the fact that they have taken that cookie tin and given it its actual most useful purpose, a purpose that will last for years. You might have those cookies for a week or two, but you're going to have that sewing kit. You can pass that on to the next generation. So it was a fun video, very short video, but it was a lot of fun. And thank you so much for sharing that. It just goes to show, regardless of race, creed, or color, we are more alike than we are different. You know that? We people, we human beings, we are far more alike than we are different. So you can go anywhere in America and find that cookie tin, just like you see represented there, used as a sewing kit. All right, so you know by now when you see our queens at the end that I am done for today. Thank you all very much. 2 hours and 23 minutes. What in the world did I talk about all that time? And I'm going to go in over here to look at your comments here. Hey, Antonio. Let me see. Oh, well, we're glad you're here. Thank you so much. Let me see. Marshar. If I saw a Royal Dance butter cookie tin, I would be mad as hell if I opened it up and found needles and thread inside of it. Yeah, I know what you mean. Because when you got a taste for a cookie and you open it up and there's stick pins, that is a disappointment. I understand. Let me see. I have my sewing kit, notions in a tin from Charles and Diana's engagement. Really? Okay. Okay. Well, I'll tell you something that I got is pretty rare. Okay, we've all seen the Danish butter cookie tin. I have a cookie tin that has a Wedgwood design on it. Now hear me out. The tin itself is Wedgwood blue, right? And then the lid has a plastic insert, kind of like it's round, and it has the embossed image of some Greek goddess or Greek maiden or whatever. And it's also Wedgwood blue and white. So Wedgwood blue is that light blue and white. So yeah, whenever you see that Wedgwood china, their most popular color is that light blue and white, and it has like that the Greek goddess, Greek gods, and all that kind of heraldry and stuff on it. Those creatures and what have you. Well, anyway, that I have a cookie tin like that, and it is all done up like Wedgwood china. So don't know where it comes from. It's just something that's been in the family for a while. Don't even know if it's worth any money. I wonder if it is. Let me see. Might be worth something on eBay. Wedgwood cookie tin. Aha. Let me see if I see it. Okay. I see. Well, that's not it. Let me see. Is that it? Maybe. Oh, it's only work. Oh, there it is. I see the exact one on Etsy. Let me see how much it costs. I see the exact one that I have on Etsy. I don't see a price on it. I see one similar that costs $30, but when I opened it up, I don't see the actual 10. It must have been sold already. But yeah, I'll show you a picture of it if I can. I'll show you a picture of it. Let me see. How can I do this? Okay, I will set that photo to the side and I will share you a photo of it. Okay, let me see. I'm going to try. But anyway, I'm done. So if you guys need to get to bed, go ahead because we are done today. Oh, okay, that's not working. That didn't work. Aha, that should work. Now, my cookie tin is not dirty like this one, but I do have it. I do have it. Let me see. Okay, I know how I can do this. I'm going to just do a screenshot because it's not letting me do what I want to do here. So I will do that and I will show it to you. Very cool though. I never looked it up before, but it looks like it is probably worth about maybe $10 to $30. Is anybody else like me? You got a whole bunch of stuff that you want to sell and you always say, I'm going to put that on eBay and you never do it. I'm just really curious where this originates from. What kind of cookies was in it, you know? It looks like the pattern is based on, oh, wait a minute. Let me see here. Okay, that's actually porcelain. I'm trying to find, let me see. Oh, there we go. There's a better example. There is a better example. Okay, and whoever's selling this on eBay is selling it for $20. Yeah, they're selling it for $20. Well, that lets me know that this rare find that I thought I had ain't worth much. But that's okay. It's been in the family for a while, so I will treasure it. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention to the chat. What y'all talking about? Let me see. Okay, so how can I share this? Let me see if I can do this. Oh, okay, I got it. Something has to go so I can bring something in. I got to get rid of William of Orange. So long, William. Okay. Okay, here goes. There is my Wedgwood cookie tin. I don't know where it comes from or who made it or whatever, but that is my Wedgwood cookie tin. And here's another photo. Looks just like that, but mine isn't dirty and nasty and chipped and faded. But as you can see how the top, you can see around the rim of the blue part, it's just a piece of plastic that's glued to the top of it. So that's not paint. It's certainly not made of porcelain. So the container is tin, and then that round part, the blue relief is actually just plastic that's pushed in there. Pretty cool though. I like that. I like the Wedgwood with the contrast of the white and blue. I like the way that looks. I always like a good contrast of colors. Okay. Who knew that we would have long conversations about cookie tins, right? I certainly didn't see it coming. It's just like I didn't know that I would ever see eyes peering out of Angela Levin's wig. I didn't see that coming either. But upon closer inspection, one day I looked and I was just like, what the what? Look, her hair. Yeah, there's actually eyes that are peering out of Angela Levin's wig. So, never know. But yeah, if somebody got time to do the research, please find out where those cookie tins come from. I am curious to know, but I just don't feel like looking. Where did those cookie tins come from? What was the purpose? Who made them? What was in them originally? I am curious. There's a raccoon in that wig. Oh man. Yes, what's his name? Elijah Wedgwood, right? There's an interesting documentary about Wedgwood porcelain, China. Very interesting story. In the early days of the Industrial Revolution, is it Josiah Wedgwood? He used a lot of chemistry and stuff to perfect the Wedgwood china as we know it. And it's very, very expensive. Even some of the smallest pieces can cost you a lot of money. So two of my favorite industrialists, well, I wouldn't call them industrialists, they're artists. Two of my favorite artists are Wedgwood, and my favorite of the both is Chippendale. The reason why I went to Dumfries House was to see that Chippendale furniture. But during the Regency period, I think it was during the Regency period, um, Wedgwood and Chippendale, they made a lot of stuff for the aristocrats, for the nouveau riche, the new wealthy merchant class. They were able to buy stuff that was manufactured right there in the UK. And I believe Wedgwood was one of the people that helped fund the early canal system in the UK. He was frustrated because the porcelain would be loaded on these wagons and shipped across the country, and they would shatter from all of the roads and stuff. And so the canal system was smooth, efficient. It covered vast terrain across the UK, and it was able to take a lot of the goods from the early factories and merchants and such and bring them to market in places like Bath and, of course, London and all the other great river and canal towns. So, very interesting history of the Midlands and industry. And that's the reason why I went to Manchester, Birmingham, and Liverpool, is because I was interested in the industrial Midlands and such. I wanted to see some of those old commercial spaces and factories and stuff, even if they were converted into like housing or offices. Still very interesting to me. So whenever I go to a city, I'm not always interested in the castles and the palaces and the office buildings. Sometimes I want to see the bridges, the roads, all of that infrastructure that survives from the Industrial Revolution. Y'all didn't know I was so deep, did you? All this time you thought, oh, wow, a handsome virgin. Surely there's not much going on up there. I mean, you look at that pretty face and you think, can he be smart too? Well, I'm still on the fence about the smart part, but interested, yes. Let's see here. Oh, yes, there's a list. Thank you so much, Sherry Ware has a list from the people that were kind enough to donate today on Royal Sussex. Let me see here. So thank you very much. Oh, wow. Carol Lund, 19 months membership. Lucy Highland, Elaine Parker, Olivia Johnson, 1 month's membership, but also several months from Patreon. Kathy G, thank you for 21 months. Or were you the one from Patreon? No, I think it was Olivia Johnson. And Lydia Washington, thank you for the alert with the Cash App. I'm sorry, with the, the super chat. And thank you, MR, for the Cash App. And Legs, thank you for the super chats. And Audrey Teschner, thank you for the super chatters, super whatever. No. Was it a? Yeah, it was a super chat. Yeah, it was a super chat. Thank you. I have yet to do that. I haven't been to Ireland yet, but I would love to see the Guinness factory. Yeah, I would love to see the Guinness factory. Let me see here. Mary H says, I love it. It's beautiful. Maybe cookie dough was in it. I didn't think about that. Love the color Wedgwood blue. Yeah, I actually painted a room with Wedgwood blue years ago. I had actually painted a room and I found one of the cards and it was called Wedgwood Blue. So I painted Wedgwood Blue and I did the cornice and everything in white. Yeah, that is a fun color scheme. Wedgwood Blue and white. So there you go. You all learned something new today. Wedgwood Blue, Chippendale Furniture, Industrial Midlands, and of course, the most bizarre thing that you've learned about today was the, wait for it. Yes, the egg and dart, egg and tongue, egg and anchor, egg and claw, egg and star. Yeah, but anyway, when you see that shape, now you know what it is. Oh, yeah, the Harriman film. Thank you so much, Sherry Ware. That comes out on the 25th. It is a short film and it is available on Netflix. I would let you all use my Netflix password, but I won't. But if you know someone who has it, see if they'll let you use their password. All righty then. So all we need is oh, wait a minute. Whose birthday is it? Antonio, it's your birthday? Happy birthday and many happy returns of the day. Wow. Okay. Well, happy birthday. Okay. Well, that's that. Let me say goodnight to our queens. Okay, done that. Then I'm going to go back up to the top where we started off. And what else do I need to do? Oh, okay. We need something to close with. Let me find something deep and profound. If not, I'll just make up something. How about that? Excuse me. Something very deep and profound. Something thought-provoking. No, I don't like that one. Don't like that one either. Let me see. What is this? Oh, no, that one's dirty. Okay, not that one. Let me see. Definitely don't want anything dirty at this hour. Okay. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Dear God, if I lose my hope, please remind me that your plans are better than my dreams. Your plans are better than my dreams. Okay, that sounds like an ending to me. If I lose hope, remind me your plans are better than my dreams. Okay. All right. Love you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. And let's close with Once Upon a Time. Once upon a time.